Shalom family, we have a spontaneous video to do today, but it's actually worth going back into. So a few months ago, I introduced, after being asked to share on a panel about what an essential oil is, which people already use, but you may not know that that's what you use. So an essential oil, we're going to talk about that first, are oils that derive from plants, from herbs, from we have here leaves, from bark, from seeds, and from the roots of the plants. So for instance, we have seed oils like sesame seed oil, sunflower seed oil, which by the way, these are not always good oils to use because they cause cholesterol and they have high triglycerides. So be mindful of that, family. But I'm just going to give you a range. And then we have the essential oils, which are things like tree tea oil, lavender, peppermint, all these things that even if you don't think you're using them, you're using them because they put these things in our like skincare products. They're inside of shampoos, conditioners. Now, those things are very healthy for you because they're natural and they smell good. What's unhealthy are the other chemicals which are in these products, which in other words are drugs. They are made in a lab and they are harmful for us. So we are attracted to these things because they smell nice and because they do offer health benefits. But the bad things in these products, that is what I am talking about today. And this is all about pharmakia. What is pharmakia? When we say the term pharmakia sounds like pharmacy, or in Spanish, farmacia, right? It's all the same root word, family. Pharmakia refers to sorcery. It refers to witchcraft or the practice of using drugs or spells or harmful or manipulative, for harmful or manipulative purposes, family. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because unfortunately, I know many people have to take medication, but you have to understand medication is pharmakia, or in our language, pharmacy. These are drugs and they do not mean well. They hurt our organs. They cause addictions. They do all types and sorts of things within our bodies. In fact, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I saw some false information circulating on the YouTube. But also my neighbor has a tenant that had to come over to us and he basically apologized. We said, why you apologize? He said, because he hasn't been so social lately with us. And we said, oh, that's okay, But he had to say that his tenant, his landlord rather, he's the tenant. His landlord's on medication and the medication has literally made him act and be crazy. So when I heard that, I said, we got to get these people off medication. So I was called to maybe plant a seed in that neighbor. I'm going to do it. I did it a long time ago. He was explaining that he had pain and he had psoriasis. And I mentioned to him, the medications that you are on are causing harm. They don't heal, family. And so that is what witchcraft or sorcery is. It is a false Band-Aid that you put on something that continues to bleed. It does not heal because it does not come from YAhuah. It comes from Hashatan. And so while you're taking it, you think that you have relief or that you're getting healed, but you're not. Only YAhuah heals, right? He's the one that said, I heal. And so he heals through vessels or through things that he created, family. We know this, right? And I don't mean to be so abrupt with anything, but it's just that it hurts me when people try to discreetly or passive aggressively hurt other people. It leads people astray. Many people are sick, they have ailments, or we know that what Revelation says where there will be pestilence and all these things coming. And I want us to know what to do in case of an emergency, how to hydrate, what to drink, what to eat. If you're bleeding and you can't stop it. Okay, family, these are all things that were mentioned in in Genesis that YAhuah, he is who I'm talking about, saw was good. So we're going to get to that at the end, right? We're going to save the best for last. But for now, let's go into these scriptures that may mention things about essential oils. So we're first going into Galatians 5:20. And as I said, because the scriptures and the translations, it's not going to say essential. It might say something else, but we have to understand why pharmakia which is what the world does. And you see some of these drugstores have an image of like this cup looking thing. I don't know what it's actually called. You guys might. And then they have like this mixing thing with it. So they're showing you right in your face that they practice pharmakia, right? They have this thing and they're mixing and doing all this stuff. In fact, some people will show you in their face mixing and doing stuff, you know, so we have to be mindful. See, the devil's a liar, and he will confuse people to lead them astray. He doesn't want you to be healed, because when you are ill or sick, you have you give access to him, right? They need dirty temples. They need temples that have illness and that are weak. So the more you fast, the more you eat right, the more you exercise, the more you are healed and cleansed, the less likely he is to oppress you and to manipulate you. Okay, family? So this is why we have to be healed. And we know only through Yahuwah we are healed. So in Galatians 5:20, and as always, it goes to the the NIV, okay, family? And I told you the definition of pharmakia. Make sure you keep that in mind. And now Galatians 5:20 says that idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rave, selfish ambition, dissensions, and factions. These are all things that are abominations and that are sinful things to do, family, right? This is all in Galatians. And so then he talks about what the fruits of the Spirit are, okay? Let's go into Revelations 9:20, which we are in the time of Revelations. So it is important to always meditate on that book. Not only will it help you to have wisdom and understanding, but it says that those that read the book, they're blessed, right? Blessed are anyone that reads this book and don't add anything, don't take away, family. So now Revelations 9:21 tells us, nor did they repent of their murders, their magic arts, their sexual immorality, or their thefts. So Revelation tells us all about the people that practice these things that are abominations. These people don't repent. What does it mean to repent? To stop doing it. Okay? So Yahuwah wouldn't want you to keep taking drugs or using these things that Babylon created if he tells you to come out of Babylon. Do you understand what I'm saying? Babylon created these things. Babylon did not create plants, flowers, and all these things. Maybe they have some, like, if you're talking about THC, they might have some of their medical THC, right? Where they did things or whatever. I'm not saying that if you use that is bad. I'm saying if you smoke, that's bad, okay? That's my opinion. And if I'm wrong, Yahuwah will forgive me and convict me. But there are things they create, and then there are things Yahuwah created. We know that what he created, he saw was good. He showed us in 7 days what was created. And he showed us on the 7th day he rested. So when it comes to what Babylon created, we know it's not good for us, right, family? We know it's not good because he doesn't want us to be a part of their system in all ways, whether it's what we're eating, listening to, being around, doing anything. He doesn't want us in their religions, nothing. All right, family? So now let's look at Revelations 18:23. And I'm trying to squeeze this in because I noticed that I had storage problems with the phone and it cuts off the video. So now Revelations 18:23 says, the light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of bridegroom and bride, you will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the world's important people. Who is the biggest people in the world? The filthy rich, the doctors, the pharmaceutical companies, family. They literally run the world. It says, by your magic spell, all nations were led astray. They were, don't say will be. They were led astray. I'm sounding the alarm. I have been sounding the alarm. And I'm telling you to leave this stuff alone. See, the devil will say that the oils are evil to confuse you into not doing what your ancestors did, but then they won't tell you that pharmakia is evil. That is the sorcery and witchcraft that is mentioned in the scriptures. And so when you go against the word that is true, then you go against YAhuah and what he saw was good. And then we know that all man lie. Let every word of YAhuah be true and all man a liar. Family, always take things back to the Father so that he can confirm anything you hear. You have to guard your ear gates, eye gates, because what you start coming to an agreement with and believing, it can affect you spiritually. Don't block your blessings. If you're someone looking for healing and deliverance, and stuff like that, there are things YAhuah has that can heal you. I don't care if it's diabetes, autism, high blood pressure, cholesterol. You can be healed. You can be healed. Don't allow anything or anyone discourage you from thinking that you can't be, because you can. You don't need medicine, medication, pharmacia, pharmacy. You don't need that. Those things are evil. Now, when we look at pharmakia, there's another word, pharmakan, which is a Greek term that refers to drug, poison, or magic potion. And I told you, their images always has this thing that like they're mixing it together. It looks like a lab test tube sometimes. If it has another term, that's what it looks like. So you know it's falsely made. It's not Yahuwah's will or his creations. And that's why he puts this in the scriptures. He reminds you that everyone was led astray behind the world's most important people and their merchants. Do you not have to purchase your medication? Yes, you do. And if you don't come out of your pocket, your pharmacy, your insurance company does. Everything requires money here. This is evil. But YAhuah doesn't require money, for what belongs to him is freely given. It is a gift that comes and grows off of a tree. It is life, it is healing, it is miracle, not magic, but miracles, because he is the truth. He is the Alua that we are to serve. We can't be eating from both tables. Can't be like, yeah, I'm in the truth, all that, and then the medication thing has to stop. We have to stick together and pray for each other that need true healing and deliverance. Even if they say, oh yeah, you can never be healed from this. This is not possible. You better add to your faith. That's what you need to have, because then it's mind control, because you're believing their lie over what the word says, that you can be healed by his stripes. This also refers to preparation or dispensing of medications. You don't have to dispense Yahuwah's things. They're growing on the trees. Your doctor will never tell you the natural way to do something, because they want to put these poisons in your body. They want you to stay in bondage because they're getting big money. And we are sitting there suffering, wondering why this is still not healed. And then they put you on something else, because once the thing you take now leads to something else getting bothered in your body. And that's why we fall into this massive deception mentioned in Revelations. Babylon deceives the nation. It's a widespread of sorcery and magic, family. And so like where I get my essential oils, they're certified in pure therapeutic grade. And I only use them when I need, like if I have an ailment. I don't just use them just to use them, because I am fine. I'm healthy. Praise YAhuah for waking me up each and every day. But if my kids end up getting a fever or something, I ain't running to get no Motrin for no one. I'm going to use what he gave, peppermint, something to cool down their body naturally. My kids aren't going to be taking these things with these dyes in it that cause cancers and stuff. Family, we have to do better. This is a video for edification. And I'm doing this out of love, because I've done this already and I want to do it again, because some things we can slip and forget about. And then there's a lot of new people on this channel. Essential oils, I told you where they come from: plants, flowers, leaves, bark, seeds, and roots. None of those things are made in a laboratory. We know that, family. Let's turn the page, and we're going to talk all about olive oil right now before I turn the page. Olive oil was used by our ancestors. It is a emollient. It was used for fuel in their lamps. We were told to don't let that oil run out. That is symbolic. We don't have lamps now. Obviously, we might have to use flashlights and solar things. But oil is also a term for the Ruach HaKodesh. That represented him too. Okay, oil is used for food and nutrition back then and now. Okay, so we have to just study to show ourselves approved. I have a few Psalms that I want to touch upon that talked about oils. So we're going to do Psalm 45, verse 7 to 8. And that verse reads this. It says, you love righteousness and hate wickedness. Therefore, YAhuah, your Eluah, has set you above your companions by anointing you with the oil of joy. There is no such thing as an oil of joy, but the term oil is used and well known by Israelites because that's what we used. We are people that use natural resources. We lived off the land, and YAhuah was our provider and redeemer, as always. We were told he followed the Israelites in a pillar of a cloud by night or day. And so we have to think, well, wow, he keeps referencing all these natural things we see all the time. That's why I tell you guys, go ground yourself, be in nature. That is Yahuwah's presence. Okay? When you're inside and you're watching TV and you're doing all these worldly things, you're being a part of Babylon. We have to come out of Babylon spiritually first and then hopefully physically. But we know Yahuwah is going to do what he got to do. It says, all your robes are fragrant with myrrh. So the robes they used myrrh, which is an essential oil. And I'm going to talk about where we get ours from. Because we talk about, we're from the ancient land, the motherland in Africa and stuff, Shem, the land of Judah and stuff. But that's where we get our oils from. We help the impoverished people. We get it from them. They grow it on their land, our land, and that's where we get it from. We don't do nothing a part of Babylon. Nothing that we do is a part of here. We know this is not a good place. Okay, so I tried to touch upon that months ago, but for time purposes, maybe I didn't go deeper. But myrrh was used to anoint like their robes and everything. Oil was life. That's what they used. Okay, family? In fact, Yahushua HaMashiach was given them as a child, as a baby. That is how important it is. But the devil is a liar and will have you do things that are not of Yahuwah. They would have you do worldly things and twist and confuse people. It says, and aloes and cassia. Cassia is related to cinnamon. Cinnamon was worth more than gold, family. I tell people all the time, stock up, make sure you add honey and cinnamon to your list. Because we're going back, right? It says aloes. Aloes are healing. I use aloes on my face. I use aloes in my hair, my husband's hair, my kids' hair. I eat it. I put it in my smoothies. From palaces adorned with ivory and the music of strings made you glad. We know David played those strings. Let's look at Proverbs. Proverbs 27:9. And Proverbs 27:9 reads this, family. It says, perfume and incense bring joy to the heart, and the pleasantness of a friend springs from their heartfelt device. So I'm not going to go into what this means. It's very straightforward. They are showing you that they use these herbs, these tree parts and stuff like that it made, it was used as practices to, for Yahuwah. Sometimes he even asks, make sure you have the frankincense. Yeah, family. We have to just understand that this is our way of life. I can't speak for like pagan people and Babylon. They probably did things to be evil and malicious, but that's not what we do over here. We are Hebrew Israelite people. We are Israelites that were awakened, and many of us were in the world as nurses or doctors or healthcare professionals, and we know it's evil, and he took us out. And now we are still, with the knowledge we obtained, we are still being used to do our purpose on this earth. We love our brethren and we don't hurt. We are truthful people here, and you know people by their fruits, family. Isaiah 61:3 reads this. It says, and provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crowd of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of the spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of YAhuah for the display of his splendor. Obviously, so many phrases that has to do with creation and natural environments and oil and trees and plants and oaks. Family, this is us. YAhuah be in his presence, family. This is what we do. We are natural people, right? He gave us these gifts. If you are someone that enjoys healing and helping people, that might be your gift. Okay? The enemy doesn't want nobody doing what they were called to do, because that will hurt him and his kingdom. But that's why YAhuah watches us and he guides us and he makes sure no weapon formed against us will prosper. Frankincense is a holy incense that was given to Yahushua HaMashiach. Myrrh was also a gift. Let's go to John 12, 3-8, because I don't think people realize that in John 12, 3-8, Yahushua HaMashiach, our Messiah, his feet was anointed by Miriam, and she anointed it with spikenard. I have spikenard right back here on my shelf. It says that, then Mary took a pint of pure spikenard, an expensive perfume. These things are worth more than, I'm telling you, richer than you think when you do things his way. We think we have rich stuff with these worldly materials and, different vain things, but we don't. We are rich when we follow YAhuah. We're rich. We have everlasting life through him. It says here, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Yahusha's feet and wiped his feet with her hair. She said, and the whole house, not she, but, and the whole house filled with that oil fragrance. It was just such a beautiful thing when this happened. And so we have to just keep in mind that these oils were used by our ancestors. I cannot speak for other people, family. I just know what our people did. Myrtle was associated with a vision in one of the scriptures where Yahuwah's messengers received a vision. Okay, family, let's go to Exodus. Exodus chapter 30. Verse number 22 to 25, family. And let's read this, because this talks about myrrh also. It says, then YAhuah said to Moshe, take the following fine spices, 500 shekels of liquid myrrh. Liquid, I told you they don't use the term essential oil. Liquid myrrh is myrrh turning into essential oil. It says they took half as much, which is equivalent to 250 shekels of fragrant cinnamon. So now they have cinnamon. I have cinnamon oil too. That will help with your diabetes and cholesterol. It says, and 250 shekels of calamus, another oil, and 500 shekels of cassia, which is like cinnamon, all according to the sanctuary shekel, and a hin of olive oil. Make these into a sacred anointing oil, a fragrant blend, the work of a perfumer. It will be sacred. All right, that's in Exodus, family. Now, cinnamon is also mentioned, but I'm not going to go into that. That's in Exodus 7:17. We have Exodus chapter 30. Again, if you read up, it's all about the oils and stuff that they did. So YAhuah has this in his Torah because he is showing us the way in which we did, so that now when you go into Revelations, you see how you've been deceived by the enemy, because he led you astray following after these merchants and these pharmaceutical companies. You believe in that's your way of healing, when we know YAhuah heals us and that he gave us things that was used for us to eat, to heal. All these things, even in Ezekiel, if I'm not mistaken, Ezekiel chapter 47, Ezekiel 47:12, family. And this is all about the land that he's going to restore for us, family. It says, fruit trees of all kinds will grow on the banks of the river. Their leaves will not wither, nor will the fruit fail. Right now, Babylon, we got fruit. You could buy it one day, next day it's rotten. It's black. You could buy fruit, cut it open. I've seen videos of fruit exploding because they are putting pharmakia in it, family. This is why it is in it that we are delivered from this land of captivity. It says every month they will bear fruit. You don't have to wait. Every month the fruit will bear fruit. We will have food to eat because the water from the sanctuary flows to them. That water is life. It says their fruit will serve for food and their leaves for healing. If the fruit is for food, then the leaves we use to heal. This is nothing sorcery. This is the word of the Most High YAhuah. This is in the book of the great prophet Ezekiel, who is telling us what hope and promises we have awaiting for us. And there are people right here telling you how you can get out of it now. Babylon, you can start coming out of these medications. And Shalom family, I'm sorry about that. My phone said storage is full or something. So we talked about Ezekiel 47:12 family, and now I'm going to remind you, Psalms 51, Dawood is saying, purge me with hyssop so I shall be clean. Wash me so I shall be white like snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones of which you have broken me rejoice. Hide my face from my sins, blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, oh yeah, and renew a right spirit within me. So when he says all these things, what's hyssop? Family, hyssop is in a flower, right? It's a flower that they made into an oil, and they used it as like a cleansing type of I guess you can say ritual. Our Israelites ancestors did this because it was something that cleansed, right? And so it was also a big role in marking the doorpost during the last plague of the firstborn for the Egyptians. And so he said you use the hyssop, mix it with the blood, and mark your doorpost. So family, we have to understand that if YAhuah thought these things were bad, he wouldn't have used it, or it wouldn't be mentioned in the scriptures. You understand what I'm saying? And so we know that the scriptures only show us but so much. So imagine all the other things that happened that just wasn't recorded. It was our way of life. We lived off of what YAhuah gave us. Okay, family, so we have Leviticus 14:4, which says, the priest shall order that 2 live clean birds and some cedar wood, scarlet yarn, and hyssop be brought for the person to be cleansed. Who's this person? This person was a leper, or in other words, a person that had leprosy, which was seen as unclean during that time. YAhuah had made it in order that these people were to be cleansed by using these essential oils or herbs, family, because what he did was he showed us the way to go, to be healed through him and his creations. But Hashatan, he's a copycat. So he goes and he creates these worldly ways of healing, but it only makes us hurt. A lot of medications not only hurt us internally with our organs, but family, they hurt your mind. They hurt your pituitary gland. They can give you horrible dreams and thoughts to hurt yourself or others. It can lead to addictions and sexual immorality and no sense of self-control, anger, sometimes even depression. Imagine being put on depression medication and you getting more depressed than you was before you was on it. This is why we have to rely on YAhuah and how he heals us. And we have to stop hurting people that he had called for a purpose to heal people in this world and to wake them up to the truth so that they can repent and renounce these worldly ways. That's hurtful. But as he always says, vengeance is mine. I will repay evil. So we are to just do what we have to do, plant a seed, and pray that it wakens up the minds around us some type of way. Because at some point, people are going to realize that nothing in this world is good for us if we haven't already. And Genesis chapter 1, verse 11 to 12 reminds us that YAhuah created these things and that he saw it was good. It says, then YAhuah said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds. It's important that we know that seed in it had to be incorporated in his word, because we know now that we're not seeing fruit with seed in it. YAhuah shows us what is his and what is not his, family. These fruits that have no seed in it are not of YAhuah. They're of the enemy, who also put drugs inside of this food. Chemicals, GMO, all types of manner of wicked things. All right, family? It says, and it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. 2 times he said that. He's reiterating. And YAhuah saw that it was good, my family. Let's look at another verse in Genesis. Let's look at Genesis 1:31. Genesis 1:31 tells us, YAhuah saw that all he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and morning, and that was the 6th day, my family. We already talked about Ezekiel 47:12. Just remember, leaves are for healing. So even when you do have fruit in your house, and sometimes we like to just cut off the skins and the leaves, throw those in the garbage, you can either use it for compost, you can make teas with these things, you can add them to salads. I know we never tried it, but we need to start doing things we didn't do before, because that is how we, wake up and start living how we're supposed to. A lot of the leaves, believe it or not, they're way more better and beneficial than the actual fruit itself. People take this for granted all the time, and these things often end up in our trash cans. We have to stop doing that. We could also make compost. So for someone that has like a little bin in their house, over time that will turn to the soil in which we were even made. We are all one with creations. This is why when you ground yourself, not only are you getting healthy and healing, but you're connecting yourself with your roots. It says that he made us from dust, and dust, back to dust we shall go when this body dies. Same composition, same elements, right? All of these things have the same elements because we are life. We are his creations. And sometimes even through his creations, you can see how, like, even a woman's genitalia will resemble some of the insides of fruit at certain angles, or even the insides of certain flowers. YAhuah shows you what is his, because it is either like-minded or alike. It's the same. We are just different colors, like Jacob's coat of many colors. He shows us certain things, but you have to ask and receive this knowledge. You have to seek and find it, and you have to knock so that he can open up more to you. Do not block your blessings, family. When I read Romans 3:4, this is another reminder. Romans 3 verse 4. And this says this, family. It says, not at all let YAhuah be true, and every human be a liar, as it is written, so that you may be proved right when you speak and prevail when you judge. So we have to understand that sometimes things we hear in the midst of us, they are not always true. Some people speak through fear, speak through uncertainty, speak through confusion, or just lack of knowledge or wisdom. And this is why we have to edify each other. And just when we see things, it's not about saying they're wrong, but it's you know who's the true enemy. It's the devil. So we have to educate each other, and we have to make sure we edify each other and admonish each other when need be, because we are held accountable when we sit back and allow people to do things that are not pleasing to YAhuah. How would you call someone a brother or a sister and you are not looking out for them? Because your salvation is on the stake. Don't let one person ruin it for everyone. You're not always going to be for everyone. You're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. But we have to make sure we have a pure heart, and that we're not reserving wrongdoings in our temples because of what someone may or may not have done to you. We have to heal. We have to put off offense. We have to put off pride. We have to put off hatred. We have to put off lack of love. All these things that I'm doing in my series that I do hope that you guys have checked out, right? What lies ahead for us is abundance, restoration, life, healing to the land, to our temples as well. This is a land. This is a temple. This is a body, family. And so this is what YAhuah wants. Now, before I finish this video, and I'm not looking for nobody to come and say and buy oils. I don't need that. YAhuah is my provider. But I do want to mention this. I do sell essential oils. I do not make them. This is something I advocate for because I used to be a nurse, and now I'm a wellness advocate for natural healing. And that's the route YAhuah has taken me. So for someone to say I'm wrong, I mean, you're going against YAhuah. And I did want to mention, though, some of the oils that we get are from Africa. Some are from other parts of Africa, and some are from other countries, like India and different places. But the main ones, specifically, I'm going to talk about is frankincense, myrrh. These two that was given to Yahusha, we go all the way to Ethiopia. We help our Hebrew Ethiopian people earn money while they, harvest and do whatever they have to do, and then we bring it back here. And we have a few areas that we are stationed. We have a company in UK, and we're all over the place. And they send this out to whoever wants natural healing. We have been sending it to Cancer Institute because it's been healing people from cancer. So the devil is a liar when they say that these things are not healing. Their stuff is not healing, but these things heal. So frankincense and myrrh are from Ethiopia and also from a place called Somaliland, which is in Ethiopia. Okay, family? And it's just such a beautiful thing when I watch the videos and I see how happy the Ethiopians are to, have a helping hand in helping heal the world. And I pray every day and all the time for my people in Africa's land to be healed, because it is our land too. And when you have even $1 contributed towards every oil you sell, that's what your money's going to help the world. So for those of you that has supported me the past couple of months, YAhuah barak you. And know that I pray all the time, you are healed, and I thank you for helping. I thank those of you that even went into the business like I do. I pray your business prospers. Tree tea oil, our tree tea oil comes from Kenya. Okay, so the Kenyan people over there that has, partnered with doTERRA, which means gift of earth. That is what YAhuah gave us. They are helping to get the tea tree oil to people that have fungal, bacterial infections, antimicrobial. Tea tree oil is the truth. If you have eczema, if you have dandruff, tea tree oil nips that in the bud. You just have to make sure that you're not sensitive to some of these oils, because as I said, they are pure. They come from trees and the plants. And so if you have skin sensitivity issues, you always want to do a test before. And that's why people use carrier oils, so that if you are sensitive, the coconut oil, grapeseed oil, those type of oils can help to diminish the potency that it is directly on your skin. Cinnamon, and our clove, we get these from Madagascar, which is the coast of Africa that aligns with another region. I forget. I'm not good at geometry. But family, that is just only a few. I can go into the other oils we carry. 90% of them come from Africa. The other percentage, I think we have like a few other countries where it grows best. So we go and we get it from them. Because what we do is we make sure it has good soil it's growing on, just like the word says. It has to have good soil to have healing and to have an influence on growth. And you know what I mean? So just understand that if you're just going to the regular grocery store and you're buying an essential oil from CVS or these pharmacies that I told you, practice pharmakia, you're not getting a pure essential oil. You're getting something that's probably cut with alcohol or even water or some other synthetic chemical. And they usually say do not consume. Oils can be consumed. So when it says that, you need to take that as a warning and to know that you shouldn't even be putting it on your skin or inhaling it. I told you, they don't like us like that. And there's always going to be that one or two people that make you feel bad for making a video like this because they disagree with essential oils or maybe they're confused, and that's fine, which is why I'm going to be leaving the comments off, because this is the 6th day and I have to prepare for the Shabbat. And a part of preparing for the Shabbat, we need to have a sound mind and we need to put off many things so that we can rest in YAhuah on the 7th day. So thank you all for watching. I love you all. You can email me if you have any questions pertaining to this video or anything else, whether it's sharing content. I love it. I love when people do that. We are all one body in Mashiach. I have nothing but love for you all. Thank you for watching and enjoy your Shabbat. Shalom.